Okay, so how do you improve on a gyoza? Well, you give it a beautiful, crispy lattice work bottom. Check that out and listen to the sound of that crunch. So crispy. These are my crispy pork gyoza. All right, so getting that little crispy lattice on the bottom of our gyoza, a little bit of a technique there. It looks tricky, but we are gonna do it together, guys. I promise, stick with me and you can master this at home. All right, let's do the dumpling filling first of all though, and we're going with a really kind of traditional pork and cabbage scenario here. We wanna prep the cabbage a little first though. So I wanna get this into a bowl. White cabbage. You could use Chinese cabbage as well. Now we want some salt here, and we want a really decent pinch of salt. Now give that a mix, and the salt is going to kind of extract some of that moisture from the cabbage and actually soften it a little. So it's an important little step, and we just want to leave that to work its magic for about 5 minutes. All right, so if you have a look at the cabbage now, you can see it's softened up. It's a little wet as well, so I know that some of that moisture's come out. Perfect. Now let's get the rest of our dumpling filling in there. I want some pork. Now, I want a really good fatty pork here, guys. This is not the time to go lean. Fatty pork means a juicy dumpling, and we all want a juicy dumpling. Okay, so that goes in there. And now for our aromatics, we want some garlic. And I want some ginger. And then our final little aromatic here is some spring onion. Now, just a word on spring onions, or green onions, you might be calling them as well, or scallions. Okay, so many different words for this one vegetable. But when they're really thick like this, you don't want to just go in and slice here, because you're just going to get really big chunks of the spring onion in your dumpling. So you really want to sort of cut this a lot finer, just like this. And then again, just keep slicing through like that until you've got some nice kind of thin strips of the spring onion. And now you can go ahead and slice into nice fine little bits and pieces. Okay, so we need some soy sauce here as well, and some sesame oil. And now you want to give this a really vigorous mixing. I find chopsticks the best apparatus for this. And you want to keep mixing until everything gets really sticky. You'll see what I mean. Okay, so see how that pork is almost moving together in like one big ball? That is when you know that you are at the right point. All right, so now we are ready to fill our dumplings. And I'm using Gouji wrappers today, and you can find those in most supermarkets these days. Look in the fridge section near the fresh pasta. That's often where you'll find them hiding. Now, for the filling, I want to grab a knife. Is pretty easy, I think, for doing this kind of job, and grab a nice plump amount of filling there. And I always find with store-bought wrappers, they really need a lot of water on the edges here to really stick together. So just be generous there. Oh, and if you want to make your own wrappers, I do have a video on how to do that on my YouTube channel, so check that out if you want to. Okay, so let's get back to the folding. Just fold the bottom over. Now what we're going for here is a very traditional gyoza style fold. So I want the pleats on one side, no pleats on the back. So I start with 3 pleats on one side here, and then I kind of smush that into the back of the dumpling wrapper, and then I do 3 on the other side. And now get in there and really push that together firmly. And there you go, what a pretty little dumpling. We've got a nice row of 6 pleats along the front, nice smooth back, very traditional gyoza style fold. And there we go. Now just keep doing that until you run out of wrappers and filling. All right, so now we're all about getting that crispiness for the bottom of our dumplings. So what we need to do is actually prep a little bit of a flour water mixture. Now I like to use 2 flours here. I find that you get a kind of lighter, crispier texture with this combination. So some corn flour, and for my American friends that's cornstarch for you guys. And then some plain all-purpose flour and some water. And just give that a good mix. All right, so we want a little bit of oil in here. Now a non-stick pan or a really well-seasoned cast iron skillet really is going to be a good friend here. No one wants dumplings sticking to the bottom of the pan. What a waste that would be. And now depending on the size of your pan, you want to put in like a nice little cluster, if you like, of dumplings, fairly close together. I'm probably going to fit about 6 in this one, I think. Now you don't want to be too ferocious with the heat here because we're going to strike the balance of getting like a nice crispy bottom, but also having enough time to cook our dumpling through. So let's just wait a couple of minutes here until we can see some color on the bottom. All right, so this is the kind of situation we're looking for here. A nice golden suntan on the bottom there. And now we want to go in with our water and flour mixture. Okay, so you just want enough of that flour water liquid to give you a nice sort of base across that bottom there, just like this. And now what you want to do is give the dumplings a chance to cook. So pop a lid on, and now turn the heat down really low and just let them steam away in there for about 5 minutes. Okay, now these are looking really good. Look at that crispy bottom. That color looks perfect to me. Those dumplings look like they're cooked. So let's get this out onto a plate. Now this is kind of the nerve-wracking part, but get a plate, pop it on top, breathe, stay calm, and flip the pan over. All right, so see how we've got beautiful color on the bottoms of the dumplings themselves, and then we've got that lovely crispy lattice work there. We just need a little dipping sauce here, and I'm gonna keep things really simple. I just want some soy sauce and some Chinese black vinegar. I really love the flavor of this one, but even just regular white vinegar would be fine as well. And there you go, gyoza, extra crispy bottoms. What could be better? I mean, listen to this sound. So good. Let me just make sure it's really good though. A little bit of sauce. So crispy. Wow. Those flavors are so on point. I mean, you get this really beautiful hit of ginger, and then you've got the spring onion. You know that crispy bottom actually adds an extra kind of flavor element, like a bit of a kind of toasty, roasty, savory kind of thing going on there. Ah, that is one good dumpling. Very good.